So we're here at Loch Lomond, the biggest stretch of inland water in the whole of the UK.
You'd have to be absolutely nuts to go in there at this time of year. Guys, if you're liking the content, please click the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. Enjoy the episode.
Gerald Neal and his Into the Deepest group made huge waves on YouRevolution last month. Gerald leads a Facebook group of hundreds of members who do cold water therapy and specific breathwork practices to improve their physical and mental health. A guy from Dumbarton called Michael Toner also appeared on that episode, and he spoke openly about past battles with anxiety and depression, and Michael revealed how the cold water therapy and breathwork has been a complete game changer in helping to turn his life around. Days after that episode went live on YouRevolution, something special happened. Michael teamed up with his pal Vicky Murphy to kickstart a spin-off cold water group called Taking The Plunge for their local area, West Dunbartonshire. Within 1 week, the group had over 70 members, and men and women were meeting to safely go for cold water dips in Loch Lomond. It began with 20 odd people in the water on a rather cold Saturday morning.
Okay, oh yeah!
Then it was a Wednesday night plunge, in the dark but in shallow waters and with head torches of course. Now the group has progressed to these mad plungers doing a 30-day challenge that involves cold water exposure either through the outdoors, cold showers, cold baths, ice baths, or even plastic tubs that they've bought for their back gardens. But listen, this ain't just a bunch of people who have lost the plot. Cold water therapy has been scientifically proven to have numerous health benefits, including combating anxiety and depression, relieving stress, increasing willpower. It also boosts your immune system, it improves sleep, increases energy levels, and it speeds up workout recovery. And the cold exposure is so effective because it helps condition the nervous system, and it also drastically reduces inflammation in the body, which is at the root of virtually all disease. All of these cold water health benefits have hit the mainstream now thanks to Dutchman Wim Hof and his now famous Wim Hof method, which basically involves cold water exposure and deep breathing techniques for improved health and well-being. So it's no surprise that the Taking the Plunge group has really taken off. However, this movement has also developed into a valuable mental health support network, with members forming a supportive community in private WhatsApp and Facebook groups. With lockdown affecting basically everyone in some way, the members are being encouraged to open up about their feelings and get whatever is dragging them down off their chests. This has had a huge positive impact on numerous people who are struggling with mental health issues. And group co-founder Vicky, her 13-year-old daughter Kira is the youngest member of Taking the Plunge, and Kira helped myself and Alan produce this episode too. So here right now, Kira leads the interview with Taking the Plunge co-founders Vicky and Michael.
So tell me how Taking the Plunge happened.
So it was a bit of a strange one really. Myself and Michael have been doing the water therapy for a while now, like kind of individually. We've not really came together and done it together. We'd spoken about it, and obviously this pandemic that's been going on and the new lockdown 2.0, we decided we were going to go out and be a bit more proactive with it in our own area. So we'd started kind of making plans with that, and then we'd asked a few friends along as well, and then it kind of just went from there, didn't it?
It's through arms and legs. We had been talking over the last kind of probably month or so about going out where the boys were into the deepest, or going to go and do the pools, or going down to the loch, and just never actually get around to doing it. So when the lockdown 2 happened, a lot of people we know kind of personally had been struggling with various different things, and we obviously done Into the Deepest done an interview with yourselves, Mark, and for then it's just kind of exploded. We'd set up a WhatsApp chat, and there was a couple of people in it. Within the space of a week, we're up to about 70 odd people.
There's nearly 80 now, so we had to end up making a Facebook group as well.
Do you know, it's been madness, because the first time, that was basically on the Friday, and we just spoke about it, and I was like, right, do you know what, I'm just going to hit up there with this. We'll go Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, we're going to the loch, we're going to do it, and if anybody wants to come, brilliant. So I think the first Saturday, when we went down, there was about 20 odd people there, which then rolled on to the Wednesday, which was just
explosive, wasn't
massive,
it? It was amazing.
Wasn't it? Mental, just loads of lunatics with all their different schemes in the Shire, all sitting around a circle at the beach down at the Lomond Shores, then Wim Hof breathing, do you know what I mean? It's mental, you would never have imagined it. But I think the best thing about it is, you know, right from the very start, the law was just laid down, and it was, you know, these pages were created to give people support. There was no room for folk getting the piss taken at them, no room for people getting slagged. People didn't need to worry what they looked like with their tap off. Whatever their worry might have been, they don't need to worry about that. And that was the whole, that's what we were after.
Kind of ethos of it is just supporting one another, supporting the community. We know, like, where we stay is kind of rife for mental health problems, for suicide, for addiction, and it's actually nice for people with these kind of problems to come together and just support one another and create a good vibration for the area.
One person to have benefited the most from the group is Michael Rybarczyk, who has battled mental health issues for several years now, and Michael recently admitted that he attempted to take his own life earlier this year. Michael is in a much better place now, but a big part of his healing has been speaking openly about what he went through. And Michael first opened up via the private Taking the Plunge community, and he is now doing his bit for mental health awareness.
Taking the Plunge has helped me in loads of different ways. I'd say the main help that it's done is made me the person I've always wanted to be over the years. I'm voicing out, I'm speaking, I'm telling people my issues without having to worry about people judging me or thinking, oh, you're this big bodybuilder, there's no way something's wrong with you. When over these years I've bottled that up and not told anyone. And as I said to yourself earlier, I had a counsellor for 3 months, and speaking to her was brilliant, and all of a sudden she signed me off. But I couldn't speak every day to someone, so I started then keeping things to myself, because I was in a dark place where it was that bad. The only way out for me was to end everything, and unfortunately I chose that selfish route, thinking it was the only way, that didn't know there was people to listen to, etc. Fortunately enough, I came through the other end, and I wasn't creeping back into that hole. However, I could see things repeating themselves. I could see the slight talking to myself, or putting me down, or finding myself in my four walls, what if my missus and the wee man was out, spending too much time alone. And these are all things we're overthinking, and that happens. I felt like I had a rucksack in my back all these years, and when that happened, the dark place I was in, and the situation where I chose to end everything had happened. When I woke up in hospital, I felt 1,000 times worse, but at the same time, there was a weight off my back. Everybody knew, all my family knew, my partner knew, everyone knew I was in this dark place, and the last weight I had on my shoulder was telling my story. It wasn't weighing me down, but it was there. I was walking past people, do they not know what happened to me? Because it was that bad, the whole street was cordoned off. Police had shut the street off. So people didn't know, people knew where I stayed, that somebody seen me coming out. And when I got that last weight off my chest, I felt as finally, I was the person that I've always wanted to be. My confidence is really coming back up, putting more videos up, whereas people might think I'm confident because I could put a picture up on Instagram of the gym, etc. But it's all a show. You want people to think he's fine, he's happy or whatever, but this group it's been the biggest impact in my life and my mental health ever, I would say, and that's a strong, bold statement. I would always think to myself, go to the gym, it makes you feel better for that hour, and think that was the only thing that makes you feel better. People think he goes to the gym because he's a bodybuilder, this and that, but it's mainly because it makes me feel better. But it wasn't enough, clearly, because I built my own gym in lockdown. I had everything in it, and that situation still happened. But when I joined this group and I vented off, told my story, I was sharing other people's, make sure I was getting involved in other people's stories as well, giving them my advice. I was making me feel way better than the gym would feel. And when I plucked the courage up to actually go and do the water exposure, everything was telling me not to go, and I just kept telling myself, that's your overthinking going again, there it goes, the wee monkeys in the head. As soon as I was in and I broke that barrier, I'd faced fears of, is it going to be freezing, can you do this? And that's a message that I put out on my social media now, is everything tells you, everything, your body's used to comfort, it's used to warm, it's used to being cosy, it's not wanting change. Same with the bodybuilding, it doesn't want to go through that pain of the weights, but when you go and do it and you realise that was just a voice in my head telling me that, the buzz is unbelievable.
Roxy Blackwood recently joined the Taking the Plunge group primarily because of anxiety issues that she's been dealing with for several years. Here she tells us about how things have gone for her.
Actually, it was a Saturday night, and it was my friend Kaylee that does it as well. She was speaking with Michael Toner, who I've known for years and years, and she messaged me, and at the same time I got added to a group chat, which was the Plunge chat. So that was it. It was just like a Saturday night, I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden I was in this group chat, and then obviously speaking separately with Michael Toner and stuff, and then I got the just in the know of what we were getting ourselves in for.
Brilliant. So tell me how you found the whole experience and what you've got out of it.
To be honest, at first I was sceptical because I didn't realise how much it was going to help. Obviously, everyone goes in for separate reasons. My anxiety is terrible. So at first you're just thinking about yourself, and you're like talking yourself out of it. I don't want to go in the water. What's it going to do for me? It's like me. And then it's not until you get there, I don't know if I can explain it. It's the atmosphere. You need to be part of it. It's the group. It's not just the water. It's the group. It's everyone supporting you. It's everybody like patting your back. Like, you've got this. Like, literally walking you into water. And I'm a 30-year-old woman, and there was somebody, Vicky, helping me walk into water to breathe, and it's just amazing to see that feeling afterwards. So it's amazing. It's really good.
So you mentioned anxiety there, and that's something I think a lot of people can relate to, especially this year. So tell me how things had been for you. Had you been feeling a wee bit more anxious over the lockdown period?
Yeah, definitely. This year, especially, my anxiety's been through the roof. But I've had it for years and years and years. But this is what I was thinking at, like, even 5 years ago, 8 years ago. Anxiety was different, I think, for me back then. It was hard to name and nail. It wasn't spoken about as much as it is now. Although you feel it in yourself, you deal with it yourself. And it's not the right way to deal with it, but you just deal with it. And then as the years go on, more people are speaking about it. So I've always had anxiety. But this year, I mean, it was really heightened. Definitely with like lockdown, and like then I had to move out of my house, and it was just loads of different things not working. Like, and I had 2 kids as well, so it's just trying to fill your days every single day. And even if I had anxiety, I was holding it in because I had the 2 kids. So, you know, it was hard, it was difficult, and I wasn't part of this group at that point, so I could speak to my friends about it. It just wasn't the same. So there was support there, but I definitely felt like I put a lid on it for a long, long time, which obviously wasn't great.
I think a good thing about this group is the supportive element when it comes to mental health. Everybody's opening up. How have you found that, the way people are being so upfront and honest and bearing their souls in the group?
And I think it's amazing, and you know what, it definitely is a case of, if you can do it, I can do it mentality, 100%, because like there's people that find it easier to take videos of themselves and speak about their feelings, and then there's people like me who's like anxious about everything to the point where I'm like, it's my voice, it's the way I look, like, and then that builds up, and it's definitely just like listening to other people, and people like getting emotional in the videos and stuff, and you're watching that, and then you think, I can do it. Like, maybe my problems aren't as bad, and then if I share them, somebody else will be like, I was feeling like that yesterday. So yeah, definitely, I think it's amazing. I think every single person spurs everybody on, and there's not like one comment that goes into the chat that goes unnoticed. You know, so everyone's achievements are so like noticed, and they're all amazing. Yeah.
This question is one I asked Michael Toner, and his answer was cold, and it's an obvious answer. I was say, how do you feel when you're in there, when you're in the water?
I feel personally at peace. When I go in, you know, I have to get my breathing under control, probably the loudest. So after I've had my breathing under control, I feel very peaceful. I feel like I could stay in there like for ages. Like, you know, after you go through it the first time and you've got that experience over and done with, and then you do it the second time, the third time, I find peace in it. And even when you're like surrounded by like 14, 15, 16 people, it's mad because everyone's talking, somebody will be singing a song or whatever, and I feel myself like I could be there myself. Yeah, like I feel very peaceful. Biggest benefit for me is feeling part of a team, feeling part of like a family that's all going through the exact same thing. So for me, that's like the biggest benefit, because I think you can have supportive family and supportive friends, a supportive partner. I don't think everybody's got that. I genuinely don't, and I definitely feel that beforehand, I always had anxiety. I got on with my life. Now I've still got anxiety, but I feel part of a family. So maybe 2 days of anxiety is then I stop it, rather than having the 4, 5, 6 days, because I never had the proper support like group. So 100%, that's got to be the biggest like a couple of the biggest benefits is feeling more confident in myself to overcome my anxiety and put a stop to it, and feeling part of a family, feeling part of a team. Like, I don't know these people in this chat, I've never met some of them, yet you feel like you can tell them your biggest secrets. Like, and I'm just getting started. I've just put up my first video today, but I mean, I felt so good after it, because just like instantly, like there's so many people supporting you that have never met you, but they're like, you've got this, like you can do this, and that's, I mean, you can't put a price on that. It's amazing.
Around 20 members of Taking the Plunge got together recently for a nature walk up the Stony Mullen Hill overlooking Loch Lomond. But this wasn't any ordinary walk. The guys were marching onwards to decorate a Christmas tree at the top of the hill with special messages to raise awareness about mental health issues and spread some positivity. Once at the top of the hill, members from Taking the Plunge got busy decorating the Christmas tree. The day before, Michael and his partner Shannon had spent hours laminating those messages about mental health awareness, hope and positivity for the group members to tie to the tree. And this is a popular area for walkers, for runners and people out with their dogs, so lots of people have been stopping by the tree since then to read all these messages.
Help is local and love.
Go on, mate.
Help is local.
Oh, did you get that man on? You know, it's been some journey this year, 2020. I mean, look, really, when I started this, like, I was in a desperate stage. Do you know what I mean? I wanted change in my life, massive change, and I had read loads of kind of different stuff about the cold water and stuff like that. And do you know, it's a hard thing to go and try on your end. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that I had found the Into the Deepest groups and stuff like that, and really, that's just kind of transpired from there down into our community. It's been brilliant. But look, you would recommend this to anybody because, you know, there's still times now. I mean, even last week, I had a terrible week last week where all feelings started creeping up. I was borderline having a panic attack with just some many different things that was going on, and I use loads of different coping strategies, like being out with people down the water, doing coaching, doing breathing, loads of stuff, but sometimes just being surrounded by people who are the same, that's what it actually is. It gets you through, do you know what I mean? And I mean, I've been told that I think I'm better and I'm forgetting myself, and you know, I just want better, do you know what I mean? And that's the bottom line of it, and there's nobody going to step in my road or in my life on that. I've got a Wayne, I've got a missus, and I've got a Wayne on the way. I need to be the best I want to be for them and anybody else out with that circle who's got a negative opinion on any of this stuff. It's absolutely irrelevant, and I would completely say that to anybody who wanted to get involved, anybody at all. I mean, look at the brilliant things that have came for us. When you surround yourself with like-minded people, positive people. This is the first time I've ever been up here last week, me and my pal, one of my best pals, and we just came up and made a long chat, and there used to be a Christmas tree there, and it'd been vandalised. So we were talking about that, and I'm like, you know what, that would be brilliant to come up and do something like that, something different in the community. You know, you just kind of start thinking outside the box a wee bit with it, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let's raise the bar with this. So we started doing all these, putting up these wee motivational quotes, and the theory behind this is basically so, you know, you never know when somebody might walk up here, they feel like shit, they're depressed, anxiety's through the roof, they just need an outlet, so they do. And see, for somebody to come up here and just read some of these things that are on this, you know, you never know the impact, and you never know, that might stop this from being that person's last walk, and unfortunately that's the harsh reality, you know what I mean? So there we go, we've got yourselves, right, got YouRevolution, great things in the community. Do you know, it's giving people direction, it's giving people an outlet, it's giving people loads of various different things that have been explained on the YouTube channel for coping strategies and stuff like that. Deepest here. Do you know, people might be like, you know, what's that? And they'll go home and they'll Google it, and then it'll take them to the Facebook page, and before you know it, they're on the bandwagon out with all the rest of the nutters.
And a wee one as well.
Taking the Plunge.
as well.
That's the wee group that we created. And then you've got Dynamic Creations here. That's Jed Neal. I do life coaching with Jed.
So both of these, I think, individually have had, like, it's been a massive amount of messages over the past week or so, people just saying thanks, you know, how it's lifted their mood, how they were probably getting in a dark place kind of this time last week or maybe 10 days ago in terms of their mental health, and knew where their thought process was going, and this group supported them, not even just getting out and being together, but I think just the WhatsApp group as a whole collectively, you know, everybody's so positive on it, especially in the morning. There's always somebody who'll put like a positive quote on or say something nice, or you've got Michael doing these videos, and everybody's just really engaging with it, and it's lifting the spirits, it's lifting the mood, it's creating a good, nice, safe environment for everyone, and everybody's feeling really good, and you can feel it off their energy as well. It's not just what they're saying, you can see it in their faces, you can feel it off them, that they are collectively happier. I think, Michael?
I know, definitely. I mean, it's been mind-blowing, to be honest with you, and do you know what, I'm not going to lie, when you see all the nice things that people are saying to you, do you know, it's nice, innit?
It's lovely.
Like I've personally had, I don't know how many people who have messaged me saying, but just even the fact that listening to me speaking, how much of an impact that's had with them. There's one of the boys, I mean, like, this has literally changed his life, do you know what I mean? Like, I turned up at the water yesterday, and, do you know, 17-stone bodybuilder grabbing you and putting you in a bear hug and nearly crying, do you know what I mean, because of how well they feel after that. Yep. I mean, you can't put a price on that stuff, and for me that's played a massive part for me, because part of my journey this year, do you know, I've not got the most colourful past. I was a naughty boy in my time with certain things, and, do you know, I'll be held accountable for that. And coming in, I had so much doubt about doing certain things in my life because of things that I'd maybe done in the past. And do you know what? See, when you're surrounded by people like that, it makes you realise, you know, I'm not going to apologise for that the rest of my life. Do you know what I mean? I am who I am, and I did what I did. And now, with me seeing the impact that just even doing stuff like this is having on people, do you know what I mean? It's massive, do you know what I mean? And it's definitely a good feeling knowing that you've put people in a better place, do you know what I mean?
That's great.
This is basic things I could have done years ago, and I'm not talking 2, 3, I'm talking school. That's how long this has went back, my problems. And I think I've wasted so much years, but at least I've came out it, because it could have ended. And I'm just so glad that I finally got to my end goal. So my next goal is helping others, and this group is, and the YouTube channel is the main thing that's going to get the word out there. It's probably, I would say, the best thing that ever come out of this area, because it's nothing but positive, and it's positive people.
I'd imagine 2020's been your worst year. How are you feeling about 2021?
2020 is definitely, it's been my worst, but in a way it's ended well. I've went from somebody that's bottled everything up, thinking there's no help out there, nobody's going to help you, you're in this ride on your own, to there's everyone out there, everyone's in the same position as you, everyone's got issues, whether it be mental health or whether it be stressful problems with work, everyone's feeling the same. And when people come together and they're open about it and they share advice, how they deal with it, share methods, whether it be podcasts I listen to, breathing, yoga, cold water therapy, it's things that I've never even thought of trying. And I'm buzzing to start next year. I'm ending this year the way I want to go into next year, and that's just full of positivity, and it's changed my whole mindset in life.
So we'd just like to invite anyone that feels that they're struggling, they need a wee bit of support, or even just to be part of the chat, because the chat's pretty good as well, and it's pretty funny, or watch some of our star Michael's videos in the morning. You can find us on Facebook. The Facebook group is a private group, but MD's welcome to join. It's called Taking The Plunge.
There's loads of good things going to be coming up, especially going into next year once these restrictions are lifted. We're going out and doing various walks, stuff with the water, just getting together and anybody's output is welcome, do you know what I mean? And it's an avenue to get into basically anything you want. There's loads of different groups out there who we're working close with the likes of Into the Deepest, YouRevolution, loads of different people, so anybody's welcome, doesn't matter what your past is. So happy days.
Love it.
Yeah.
Happiness.